Hello and welcome to today's masterclass. I am super happy that you are here and to get the opportunity to tell you a little bit about the course that I have created. So let's start with, why did I create this course? In my work with parents, it happens a lot that they tell me about a certain behavior in their child and that they want to change this behavior. And everything they have tried so far either doesn't work or maybe and in some cases, whatever the parents are trying to do makes them feel bad, like the parents feel bad about it. And there's reasons for that. And an important information is that everything I tell you today about your child is also important about yourself, because everything is rooted in human needs. And we all have those, not just the kids. That's the problem. The chance, if you want to say it. So, what mostly happens is that you want to address a behavior, but what you actually do is that you address the person. So, what does it mean? It means, for example, saying, "You are a liar," instead of "you lied." See the difference here? You are a liar person versus you lied behavior. And that is actually the difference between guilt and shame. When there's guilt, there was a behavior that is addressed. And that's basically telling us that we acted out of our values. When there's shame, the person is addressed. And the message that is received is, "I am bad." And "I am bad" is awful, right? No one wants to think that about themselves. But when you, for example, constantly hear "you are a liar," that means you're inherently bad somehow. And then also, you can't change anything. You can't do anything about it. So we want to get to a point where we're able to address the behavior and not the person. Another thing that usually happens is that shaming a child usually goes hand in hand with punishing a child. And punishing a child and shaming a child has some bad consequences. And bad in a way that it's not when you feel like, "Ooh, I've been doing this, everything's lost." That's not the case. The thing is, if you keep doing it, then there's nothing that will change. It will probably get worse. So when there's shaming and there's punishment, which usually goes hand in hand, the child internalizes the belief, "I am bad." That's one thing. The child also learns to hide the undesired behavior because they want to avoid the punishment, right? But then they also keep showing this behavior because they believe that it's true what you told them, that they are, for example, a liar, they're bad. So they keep showing this behavior because a child always believes everything their parent says and then tries to confirm that belief. None of that is conscious, of course. No child is sitting there thinking, "Well, if they think I'm bad, then I'll act bad." That's not happening. It's all unconscious. So, what else happens? The child starts moving away from the parent, emotionally and or physically, because you don't feel safe around a person that's shaming you and that's punishing you, right? It doesn't feel good. You wouldn't want that either. Think about people in your life that maybe still try to do that, be it in the context of work or your own family, maybe your own parents or even grandparents. If they shame you or they try to punish you, that doesn't feel good. You try to get out of it. And then also, because of all of that, the connection gets weaker and weaker. The connection between the parent and the child. And I strongly believe that no parent wants this. No parent is choosing this kind of behavior because they think it's a good idea to have a weak connection to their child and to have their child move away from them, right? And then also, you don't want the behavior to get worse. You actually do want to um, stop it. But there's another problem in the word that I just used, to stop the behavior. Most of the time, you try to stop a behavior in the moment. And shaming works when you just want to stop it. Punishing works. Rewarding works if you offer something else that they want. And also threatening works if you threaten to take something away that they want. But then you only stop the behavior in the moment. But the goal is to have a long-term effect, which means that you want them to learn something. You want to be able to teach your child something that they can use in the next situation where they're confronted with a decision. For example, if we stick with lying, should I lie or should I tell the truth? You want them to have the ability to tell the truth the next time, right? So simply stopping the behavior in the moment doesn't do much. And there's a lot of strategies how to go about this in the situation. And there's also lots of strategies in the course that I have created. But there's something needed before we get to the strategies. There's something essential that needs to be addressed so that the strategies then can work. Because the strategies by themselves might work every once in a while, but you won't be completely successful with them. They only work if your mindset is in the right place. And what's your mindset? Your mindset is filled with all those core beliefs about yourself and about your child. And what beliefs does it take for those strategies to work? One very, very essential belief is my child is always good. They are always good, inherently good, independent from the behavior they're showing. They might do something bad, but they are good. They are a good person. So in a situation where they, for example, act out, you could say to yourself, my child is a good child having a hard time right now. That is super essential. Because if you believe that about them, then you believe that they can actually change something. They are not doomed. You're not doomed. You all have so many opportunities. It's just the behavior. Which leads me to a second thing. An undesired behavior is always a sign that there's a skill or more than one skill missing. No one, no child and no adult likes to behave badly. They do it because they don't know how to do it differently. They're missing skills. And usually the first skill missing is emotional regulation, by the way. And if you look at yourself maybe and other adults, that is very clear. And I'm no exception. There are situations where I snap, I get angry, I get verbally aggressive. And then afterwards, I'm like, oof, that was not cool. And that's because in that moment, there was something missing. And that was emotional regulation. Then the next core belief that is very essential is that you are good. You also are inherently good. So when you mess up, you can say to yourself, I am a good parent having a hard time right now. It is super, super important to also learn to be kind to yourself, to have compassion for yourself. It's already super incredible if you can do that for your child. It is much, 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 much more valuable if you're able to do that with yourself as well, because your child is watching you all the time and they see how you talk to yourself, how you deal with your own behavior. So it's essential to learn to be kind to yourself. Another super important belief and the core mindset is that you and your team, you and your child, you are a team. It's not you against your child. It's you and your child against the challenge at hand. And I know it feels like this a lot. Those are the moments that feel like power struggles. But when you are able to get to this point where like we are a team, we we have the same goal. We have different roles in our team, but we have the same goal. Then you already win so much because then all those strategies will come super easy to you if you believe that. And there's two more very essential mindsets. One is when your child is at their worst, they need you the most. And that is so hard. That is so hard. And to be able to think about that and to be aware of that, you need the last one, which is I do not take my child's behavior personally. It's so hard. When they yell at you, when they kick, when they throw something, when they hit their sibling, whatever is going on, do not take it personally. It's not about you. And then in those moments, they need you the most. They need you the most. So all of this and more is part one of the course. There's three big parts. The mindset part is part one. The second part is very clear strategies. So then we move on to those ideas, how you can do it differently in the situation. And from there, we move to the third part, which is perspectives that take off the pressure for you as a parent. So I will offer you a bunch of perspectives that will take off some pressure. And when you start doing things differently, it is important to be patient with yourself. Because changing behavior, especially as an adult because you have internalized the behavior you're showing so far for decades. Changing a behavior takes time. So be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself, have compassion for yourself. And also, when you learn something new, it's super helpful to practice this when you're not in a heated situation, right? Because when things go crazy, it's almost impossible to implement something new. You have to train your brain and your body to think about the new behavior almost automatically in order to be able to actually then do it when the heat goes up. And the course that I've created contains exactly all of that. Everything you need to do what I just explained. So there's always input to gain some new knowledge, or if it's new knowledge, it might be a repetition. And repetition is always good to learn. Then there's, for every input, there's an exercise that helps you internalize what you just learned. And for every input, there's a challenge that gives you the opportunity to practice the new way of thinking and or acting. And there's also constant reminders from my side to be kind with yourself, to be patient. So, like I said, there's 3 parts. Each part is designed for 8 weeks. If you do it the way it's designed, you will have weekly input, exercise, and challenge once a week. So if you do the course in total, it would be 6 months, once a week. But you would have access to it whenever. So you don't have to like free up your time at a certain time during the week. You can do it whenever you want to. It's just the way it's designed to do it weekly. But you would have access to it for 12 months. So it's designed for 6, but you have access for 12 months. So there's no need to rush or no need to stress yourself out if you're missing a week, for example. So this is the course. If you feel like that's what I need, go ahead. You can either purchase the whole course in total, or if you like, you can start off with the first part, for example, and then get the other ones later on. You can purchase each part separately, each of the 3 parts. There's some thought behind it, the way I created it, so I would suggest doing the whole thing. But I do want to give you the opportunity to do it in a way that resonates most with you. And if you feel like, oh, that sounds so interesting, there's so much that seems to be in it that I need to learn and I want to talk about, but I would love to have some very specific ideas for my own family, for my child or my children. There are some challenges that I want to talk about with you one-on-one. We can do that too. Of course, I offer one-on-one coachings as well. And you have 3 options. Option number 1 is 12 sessions. Option number 2 is 24 sessions. And option number 3 is a year-long guidance. And if you choose to do the year-long guidance, you would also get support via text messages. And since all 3, but especially the last 2 options, are pretty big commitments for you and for me, we would have at least one free call up front, at least one, maybe two, just to make sure that I am the right person for you, that I am the best person to guide you through it. That's very important to me. Because if I feel like there's someone else or a different approach that I think from my professional perspective would be more helpful to you, it's important for me to see that up front and to tell you. So you have the course that you can get in full or get the part separately. And you have the option to work with me one-on-one for 12 sessions, for 24 sessions, or a year-long guidance. I am looking forward to hearing from you. And I thank you for listening, for wanting to be the best version of yourself for your kids, for doing the toughest thing in the world, being a parent. And then I'll see you in another container. Bye-bye.